The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, you'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
Hello folks, welcome back to Rushcliffe for the penultimate time, and to a place that's so small I'm probably going to be through this one inside 10 minutes. What I'm doing right now is I'm walking from one end of it to the other, and the main walk will just basically be my trip back to the car. It's literally that easy. Its name is Clipston on the Wolds. Clipston, Clippers Farm. We have 2 left in Rushcliffe and 3 in total in Nottinghamshire. The penultimate episode in the Rushcliffe series sees us take on Clipston. No, not the one near Mansfield, that one's already been done. I'm talking about the tiny hamlet that sits on the western side of Cotgrave between that town and Normanton on the Wolds. In order to avoid confusion with the Clipston near Mansfield, this version is sometimes referred to as Clipston on the Wolds, but the official parish name is just Clipston. It's approached by narrow roads that offer views of the neighbouring countryside and has an area of just 916 acres, making it one of the smallest in Nottinghamshire. Clipston stands on the northernmost edge of the Nottinghamshire Wolds and has an elevation of 259 feet above sea level. That means if you stand in the right place, you get some panoramic views of both the Trent Valley and the eastern and southern sides of the city of Nottingham, which is some 164 feet lower. It's also possible to see Hoe Hill at the Cropwells from here too. At the last census, Clipston returned a population of just 62 people. Yes, it's a tiny one. It doesn't have much in the way of landmarks either, nor does it have a great deal of recorded history. There's no church, but there used to be at least 2 chapels. So yeah, it's not got much, but it's still a parish and we must visit it. Let's have a little wander through this peaceful hamlet and see what Clipston can tell us about life on the Nottinghamshire Wolds. Welcome to Clipston, everyone. Today this route is simple, it's just a walk from one end of this village to the other, deviating only once for a farm. Clipston was first mentioned in records in 1188. Back then it was simply known as Clipston. The place name Clipston seems to contain an Old Norse personal name, Clipper, and this is Clipper's Farm. That's likely Saxon, but the proximity of Normanton on the Wolds does imply there may have been Norsemen frequenting these parts too. There may well have been an Anglo-Saxon settlement at Clipston, subsequently allocated to a Dane of the Scandinavian army that colonised Nottinghamshire in the 9th century. Though there's little place name evidence in the area before the 9th century, there have been ill-recorded discoveries of burial mounds close to this village, some of them not far away from Cotgrave. The area to each side of the Trent was settled by Angles as they made their way up the river to the heartlands and the hills that form the edge of the Wolds today. It would have appeared defensible but difficult to farm. That didn't stop Clipston being founded in the late 12th century. Clipston is truly a rural village with no amenities other than a postbox. Farms in and around the village include Glebe Farm, Old Hall Farm, Manor Farm, Blackberry Farm and Wolds Farm towards Plumtree. Well, I'll tell you what, it might be a small out-of-the-way place, but there's plenty of traffic that uses this road. There's another one just going past. I've seen quite a few cars and agricultural machinery using this road as I've been here. They're probably all going towards one landmark in particular, actually, and that would be Harkers Farm Shop. It's on the bend as you make your way through Clipston on the Wolds out towards Cotgrave. It's behind the camera right now, actually. Let's go and check it out. This is Blackberry Farm, which houses Harkers Farm Shop. The shop produces quality beef and lamb and other produce for sale. It also has a viewing area for children to meet lambs, goats, Highland cattle calves, guinea pigs and rabbits. Harkers Farm Shop was established in 1954 and has been run by the same family ever since. Situated on a working farm where animal welfare is paramount, the shop is well known among top quality Midlands restaurants. Before being showcased in the farm shop, Harkers beef is hung on the bone to mature for up to 28 days. Harkers also sells 150 varieties of handmade sausages, including gluten-free options, plus 30 types of homemade burgers. There's also a good selection of locally grown fruit and vegetables. Harkers has been part of the Red Tractor Assurance Scheme, an organisation that strictly monitors food safety and animal welfare issues, since 1996. The farm is also a member of the English Beef and Lamb Executive. Now, believe it or not, there's a parish notice board here in this very small community. Here it is on this corner, just up from Harkers Farm Shop. We'll leave one of these things. And this is the penultimate time we'll do this in Rushcliffe. There's only one left after this. It's mental, isn't it? There we go. That's it. Clipston is done. Most other buildings in the village are private dwellings, with some local barns recently converted for residential use. There's no church here. Instead, the locals use St Mary's in Plumtree, a mile to the west. However, an informative history of St Mary's tells of a tin tabernacle that was dedicated to St John once existed here in Clipston as a chapel of ease. According to the document, it existed sometime around 1898 and was removed in 1942. There was once a much older medieval chapel at Clipston too. It was associated with the Knights Hospitaller. That chapel is no longer in existence, and it's not clear when it was built or destroyed. Given that the properties of the Knights Hospitaller were seized by Henry VIII during the Reformation, it seems possible the chapel itself was seized, that or it fell out of use with the declining population. At the Reformation, the lands of Clipston, formerly within Cockgrave Parish, went to the Rempston family. All that survived was the street name, Church Gate, which is still the name of the main road through Clipston today. Alright, we've pretty much walked all the way through Clipston on the wolds. It only took me about 10 minutes, and that's even with a nice little chat with the lady at Harkers Farm Shop, actually, who was quite enamoured with the idea of there being a video of Clipston out there on YouTube. Well, if you're watching, hello! Hopefully I'm doing a good job. Okay, so the last house you've just seen, that's where we are. If I turn the camera around here, I'll show you where my car is parked. It's in a little lay-by just up there. I better move out of the way because there's a car coming. Just about to get to the side here. It's a bit muddy, but this car should be able to get past. There's my car there, parked in that little lay-by. And to finish with, we're going to take a drive along the road, which you can see goes around to the right. That goes through a little wood and takes us towards the road to Cockgrave. Oh yeah, just before we do that though, where I'm parked there's a gate and it leads onto a public right-of-way. You know how I keep saying that there's some spectacular views in Clipston on the Wolds? Well, so far we haven't really seen any. We have now. Folks, that's it for Clipston. It's not much more than what I've shown you, a tiny rural hamlet in the Nottinghamshire Wolds that's not really famed for a lot. Even so, it's still a great little place to have a wander through. We have one parish left in Rushcliffe. Join me tomorrow as we round off the series in the second of its two small towns. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.